This question is, what should we do if we're losing interest in our devotional practices? What should we do if we're losing interest in our devotional practices? Doesn't sound much fun, does it? Devotional practice. And it's a difficult question, and probably there is really no fixed answer to it. But the root principle is that who you're being that these practices are gives you how you get them. In themselves, the practices are empty. They don't contain anything. How could they? How they appear to you as wonderfully interesting and amazingly inspiring and uplifting, or as boring, that's coming out of you. It's not emanating out of the practice. So it's entirely possible that two people could do exactly the same practice, and one find it a pathway to liberation, and the other find it terminally boring. So it's not the practice. It's who you're being that the practice is that gives you how you get it. Now, sometimes when you practice something powerful, to start with, you make good progress. And then stuff starts to come up. And the internal chatter goes, yeah, no, this isn't what it was. Maybe you should stop doing it. Maybe it's not as good as you originally thought it was. And actually what that is it's the growth speaking. It's the anti-growth part of you speaking. And it can be very subtle. Oh no, this is not what it was. It's not good for you. Give it up. And give it up because if you continued, you'd realize that you're not the one doing the chattering inside your head. So it has a vested interest in keeping you from doing things that would really work. But then also, the process, the path to liberation, or whatever it is you seek, has phases. Maybe those spiritual practices were appropriate then, and maybe they're not appropriate now. Maybe life is calling you to something deeper and better. So what has to happen is that one has to really see carefully, who am I being when I'm entertaining this thought that I'm bored by my practice? Who am I being? Who is speaking there in me? Now, that is very important introspection that has to happen anyway, because we don't want to be getting into a habit with our spiritual practices, just doing it out of habit. It must be a conscious choice. And sometimes when we feel bored or it becomes a habit, all we need to do is just refresh. Get back to the root. What are you doing? Why? What is your aim here? What possibility have you created for yourself in performing these practices? What do you think it's gonna bring you? Why? And to get back in touch with the root motivation, to get back in touch with the thirst in the heart for knowledge, for connection, for union, deeply embedded within us. Get back in touch with that. So the most shocking thing is it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter if you do your spiritual practice or you don't. There's something more profound than that. Every single moment you're alive. And every single moment the truth of life is there if you could but see it. There's something that doesn't change moment to moment. What is that? There's something that doesn't change. Everything else is changing all the time. Everything. But there's something that doesn't. What is that? Being that is the greatest practice of all. Now, some thinking devotional practice, one thinks of something like chanting Hare Krishna. And the devotees there, even before they get into their day, many of them will chant 16 times 108. That's starting at 3:30 in the morning, and before they have breakfast, they'll be doing that every day. Some days, they probably get up and they don't want to. And that brings us to the point of when you make a commitment to something, you do it whether you feel like it or not. You don't do it because you feel like it, you do it because you've made a commitment to do it as a matter of your own personal integrity. If you move from that place, you don't have to decide every day whether or not you're going to do the practice. You choose once. You choose once. And then your life reconfigures around that. And so every day, there's a time for doing it. Just appears. And it's no longer up for debate. And you're not asking your internal dialogue, is it working or isn't it working? Is this a good thing to do or it isn't a good thing to do? You're not asking your internal dialogue to evaluate it. It's out of that realm. Commitment means really that you've chosen to do it, period. Regardless. And there may well be phases where it's boring. In my practice of meditation, which I've done every day, it's never been boring. Ever. In fact, I haven't been bored since I started when I was 18. It's the one thing that will fill any moment. Switch my concentration into this presence of life, to my breath, to presence, and how wonderful. So, getting back to the question, what should I do? Look deeply. Who's making the complaint? Is it the one you want to follow or not? It could be coming from your heart. Time to move on. Know that if it is. Or it could be just your lazy mind saying, yeah, this is boring, done this, done that, leave it. Know that. Only you can know that. If who you're being in the leaving of your practice is with your heart, you'll be fine. If who you're being when leaving your practice, you're doing it out of some mental, incongruent motive, then it could be complicated. And have you living out of a past instead of living into a new future. So know yourself, know where you're coming from. If it feels good, follow it, and if it doesn't, leave it, carry on.